What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny. In today's video we're taking a look at an absolutely insane grenade launcher, one which allows you to solo entire parts of the Onslaught activity and completely wipe out huge waves of combatants. It's most definitely a weapon being slept on, so be sure to stick around and enjoy the video. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a comment and rating down below, and remember to subscribe for more Destiny 2 content. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now, every now and again here on the channel we look at weapons that are either slept on or underappreciated, or in some cases completely written off. And with the introduction of Onslaught, we have our first wave defense activity, and with this we have huge waves of combatants that scale in difficulty, so being able to clear ads efficiently whilst also being able to deal incredible amounts of damage to single targets is an absolute must in this mode. So it's with that in mind, we revisited a weapon that 94% of players have managed to pick up. It's very likely you have one of these in your vault somewhere, and that comes in the form of the Hullabaloo. Now this is a compressed waveframe grenade launcher, so with this weapon projectiles release a wave of compressed energy when it comes in contact with the ground. Now, as a heavy grenade launcher, it deals incredible amounts of damage, and in a handful of updates over the last few months, we've seen some really important changes and buffs to this weapon archetype. Now, heavy grenade launchers have had their ammo reserves buffed, and whilst spike grenades had an impact damage nerf, we saw an increase to detonation damage, a small increase to direct hit damage, and specifically for heavy waveframe launchers, they had their damage increased by 20% and the width of their waves increased by 40%. Now these are some absolutely huge changes, so much so they make the Hullabaloo grenade launcher one of my favourite weapons for Onslaught. Now when it comes to obtaining this weapon, like we mentioned earlier, 94% of players manage to pick one up. And if you don't have one right now, then this isn't the only heavy wave grenade launcher in Destiny 2. You'll find one over on Neomuna as well, and whilst it is a heavy wave frame, it doesn't quite have the same perk combinations that the Hullabaloo has available to it. And when the Hullabaloo released, we saw a lot of comparisons between the heavy wave frame and the traditional heavy grenade launcher. Most of these were applied to a single target, which for the most part saw normal grenade launchers just edging out the Hullabaloo in terms of total damage and DPS numbers. Now whilst that's still likely the case, even with these buffs, when it comes to single targets, the difference is actually very minimal, and the biggest benefit that the Hullabaloo has over any other grenade launcher archetype is the ability to deliver damage in the form of a wave. What this means is that any combatant inside that wave will have the exact same amount of damage applied to it. This is absolutely essential for Onslaught, as it means that all the combatants hit by your wave will receive all the same amount of damage, which is something that a traditional grenade launcher simply isn't able to do. And to give you an idea, we paid Cole a visit over on Nessus. Now by using a single round, we could deliver 61,472 points of damage. Now with a backup mag mod, I can have 7 rounds in a magazine, and to fire a full magazine and reload the weapon takes exactly 6 seconds. This allows you to deal 430,304 points of damage, equating to 71,717 damage per second. Now where things start getting really crazy is when you start emptying the entire weapon. You can hold up to 26 rounds if you add ammo reserve mods on your armor as well. That means you can deal damage totaling just under 1.6 million across 26 rounds over 21 seconds, which is how long it takes to empty your entire weapon, which is an absolute age by the way, and I can display this by having all the gameplay just roll out right now. But by dumping all this ammo into a single target, you'll be delivering 76,108 damage per second. The DPS actually goes up the longer you fire the weapon, and as we touched upon earlier, unlike traditional grenade launchers, this is applied in the form of a wave, which is applied to all targets within that wave. Now this can be displayed by visiting Shiro Chi. We have a Hullabaloo which doesn't have chain reaction, which is what I prefer to use on my Hullabaloo, and as you can see, the same amount of damage is applied to every single enemy that you hit. Now whilst the damage numbers will naturally vary depending on the rank and file of the combatant, as we touched upon earlier, if you have a full wave of knights, they'll all receive the same amount of damage, so as a result it's one of the quickest and easiest ways to completely wipe out waves in Onslaught. Now the Hullabaloo is available with 7 perks in each column. The role that you see in this video is Volt Shot and Chain Reaction. Volt Shot is where reloading the weapon after defeating an enemy overcharges it for a short time and will cause it to jolt the next hit. And as for Chain Reaction, this is where each final blow with the weapon creates an elemental damage explosion. Now in general, the perception is that those 2 perks don't work particularly well together. However, Volt Shot is the situational perk, so in those moments where you have an overload champion, you can reload this weapon in the normal way, overcharge your weapon to deliver a Volt Shot round, instantly stunning that overload, allowing you to finish them up with a follow-up round. Chain Reaction is almost the intrinsic trait on this weapon at this point, allowing you to decimate and clear any waves of combatants. Now when it comes to other viable perk choices, if you don't want Volt Shot, then autoloading holster is a nice option, which will mean when the weapon is holstered, it will automatically reload after a short time. Envious Assassin is also very strong, especially with the boosted ammo reserves. This is where defeating targets with other weapons before drawing this one will transfer ammo to the magazine from reserves. The effect itself overflows the mag based on the number of targets defeated. If you run the Hullabaloo with a Forbearance, then together they make a very deadly combination. Now when it comes to the final column, whilst Chain Reaction is great for ad clear, if you're looking to increase overall damage, then Vorpal Weapon is available, which will increase your damage against bosses, vehicles and any guardians in their super. Taking out multiple targets, one for all is a viable choice, which is where hitting 3 targets will increase your damage for a moderate time, and another viable choice is in fact Golden Tricorn. This is where final blows with the weapon grant bonus damage, and while that buff is active, grenades or melee kills with the same damage type greatly increase its damage and duration. Now naturally you can amplify all your damage by equipping Arc Surge mods, increase all your reserves by using Arc Ammo reserves, and if you're running on an Arc subclass, you'll create an absolute shed ton of orbs of power. You'll be amplified pretty much the entire time. And as the origin trait gives you class ability energy on final blows, you'll have rifts or dodges available all the time, perfect for duplicating batteries or putting down rifts, ensuring your team have arc souls through each and every wave. I honestly think Hullabaloo is probably one of the most slept on heavy weapons in the game right now. It's seriously some of the most fun I've had in Destiny in a long time. So if you think you have one in your vault, be sure to check it out and let me know what roles you have down in the comments below. Today we have, guys, a good look at the Hullabaloo, the heavy wave grenade launcher in Destiny 2. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to check out one of the 2 videos you see here in these cards for more Destiny 2 content. And if you want to keep up to date with everything to do with Destiny 2, then be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump into the game as always, guys, and I will catch you all again very soon.